Today, joining us, we have a very special guest. Many of our students are huge fans of this guy. Generation Genius is his website. The show is lab-ra-kazam. The dancing scientist, Jeff Vinokur. Thank you so much, Dr. Jeff, for joining us.
Thank you. It's great to be here with you.
All right, I'm going to let the kids go ahead and get started.
What made you want to be a scientist?
When I was a kid in elementary school, I always liked to learn about how things work, why they work. I would mix up chemicals in the kitchen, in the garage, and that made me really excited about science. And then I went on to study science in college and ultimately ended up making the Generation Genius shows.
You're the dancing scientist. If you had to choose between dancing and science, which one would you choose?
That is a great question. I would choose science. I'd like to say that I'm a scientist first and then a dancer second, but it's good to have a balance. You know, if they kind of work at maybe a different part of my brain, and one is more artistic, dancing is more like an art, and science is the opposite of that. And so I like to be able to do both.
And talking about that, what's your favorite dance move when you do like the show?
That's a great question. My favorite dance move, it's called a head isolation. I'll see if I can do it for you here. So you start by moving your head like this. I'm not sure if you can see that, but basically it looks like my head is kind of frozen as my body moves. So that's one of my favorites.
That's cool.
Thank you.
And very creepy.
Yeah, it's a good Halloween dance move.
What is your favorite experiment that you ever did?
Ooh, I've done a lot of experiments. I really like explosions. That's my favorite. You can put certain gases in a balloon, and when you light them on fire, the balloon explodes. You can put some things in water, and then they explode. There's all kinds of explosions. And I did a few of them on the show, but we always have to be really careful, and there's lots of people around to make sure that we're being safe.
Are they scary?
They can be scary, yes, but I think I've done a lot of them, so I'd say I'm an expert, which means I know how to do it in a safe way and from a safe distance, and that makes it okay.
Explosions are cool.
Yeah, I think so.
Have you ever had an experiment go horribly wrong?
I've never been injured in any science experiments because safety is really important, but it's very common that experiments don't work. Like if you're trying to mix two liquids and they're supposed to change colors, sometimes you mix them together and it doesn't change colors. Then you have to figure out what you did wrong. Maybe you forgot to put some powder in one of the liquids or something. So it's very normal that experiments don't work. Then you just basically try them again remake whatever you had to make and try them again.
Is it annoying to do, like, for them to not work?
It can be, yes, but I think that's just part of being a scientist. It's like if you play baseball, sometimes you swing the bat and you don't hit the ball. That is annoying, but you still enjoy playing the game, and you're gonna swing the bat again. So I think of it that way.
Oh, okay. What made you want to do a show for kids?
Before I started doing a show for kids, I would travel to schools and put on school assemblies. So all the kids would come into the gym or the auditorium, and I would do a 1-hour show. I would make things bubble, fizz, explode, change colors, and teach them about science. And it was really fun, and the kids liked it too. But I could only be in like one school a day. So how could I be in lots of schools at the same time? 1,000 schools or 10,000 schools at the same time? Well, I can't. But if I made videos, then I can let those videos be used by schools all around the country. And so that's what I did, was to try to reach, to inspire even more kids than just one school a day. And I made videos. So that was the idea.
Well, that was a cool idea.
Thanks. It seemed to work out so far.
Did you have kids join you?
In the show, we do have kids. So in lab-ra-kazam, there's 2 kids that are with me, Izzy and Zoe. And in the other shows that I do, I also have other kids of different ages join me as well. And to be those kids, we hold auditions. I live in Los Angeles, and we have auditions here where kids try out, just like trying out for a soccer team or anything like that. They try out, and we choose which ones we think are the best fit for the show.
Is that really your mom in the videos?
That is my real mom. That is 100% real.
That's actually pretty cool.
Thanks.
How long does it take to film an episode of lab-ra-kazam?
That's a good question. We can film the video in one day, but it doesn't mean it takes a day to make them, because we have to kind of plan it out and write what we're going to say. We have to prepare the science experiments, and all of that might take a week to prepare for it, and then a day to film it. But then once you film it, you still have to edit it together and make the animations and the music and all of that. So when you put all that together, it's probably 2 weeks per episode, but the actual filming is just one day.
If I wanted to be in one of your videos, what would I have to do?
You would have to come to one of our auditions. We don't have any scheduled right now, but you would basically show up, and then we will give you some lines to read, which is basically a piece of paper, kind of pretending to be a character in the show, to see how it goes. And it's tough because there's a lot of kids that tried out. When we were making lab-ra-kazam, I think it was around 500 kids that auditioned for each role. So to be Zoe, and then another 500 to be Izzy.
If we wanted to audition, where would we have to go?
Well, we do it in like a studio. Los Angeles is the same place where Hollywood is. Where are you guys located? I forgot to ask.
San
We're-
Bernardino.
Yeah, we're in San Bernardino, so we're not that far from Hollywood.
Cool. So the auditions were held in Hollywood. We basically rent out a studio, and we do like a kind of, it's like called a casting call. So lots of kids get notified, and their parents get notified that we're doing this, and they show up to audition. But we don't have any scheduled right now. So right now there's no ability to audition right now.
Is Bert a real working robot?
He is a real working robot, although to control Bert, he requires someone to help move him around. So for example, to move the wheels forward and back, there's someone that helps with the remote control off where you can't see them, off camera as we say, that helps move Bert around. But yes, it's real and it works. Although Bert breaks a lot, you don't really see that in the show, but he breaks down almost every day, and then we have to figure out what's wrong with him and fix him. Maybe like a eyebrow stops moving, or the battery goes dead. So Bert is high maintenance.
Like, does he have someone to talk for his voice, or does he say it by himself?
I'm going to ask your teacher. How should I answer this question?
It's kind of like a Santa Claus question, isn't it? I think that they could hear the truth. I think they can handle it.
Sure. All right. Can you ask your question again?
Does Bert have someone talk for his voice, or does he have to do it by himself?
He does have someone talk for his voice, and we also held auditions for what kind of voice we wanted Bert to have, and so that's the voice that we picked. And the interesting thing is, when we're filming these videos, Bert doesn't talk to us when we're filming the videos. Later, when we edit the videos, they put in the voice, and then it looks like we're talking to each other. So it's kind of a little bit of movie magic. But make sure you don't tell anybody. This is a top secret.
Okay.
Okay.
What would I have to do if I want to be a scientist?
Good question. So to be a scientist, first you would want to be interested in science, excited about science, which means that you enjoy it. You like understanding how something works, why it works, and that makes you interested. And then when you go to college, you'll have to choose what they call a major, which means something you specialize in when you're learning in college. So that can be, you can specialize in history, in math, in science, and many other things, like engineering, dance. There's probably hundreds of different things you could specialize in. And so if you really like science, You can choose to specialize in science, but usually it's more specific than that. So you would specialize in a certain type of science, like biology or chemistry or physics or geology, which is a study of like rocks and the earth and stuff. But you don't have to decide that now. I think, enjoy science as you go through the grade levels, and eventually you can make a decision on what you want to study when you're 18, basically.
Okay.
Where did you go to college?
Good question. So I grew up in New Jersey, and then I went to college at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. It's in Wisconsin, where it's very, very cold. It snows for like half the year. But I studied biochemistry there. And then after I finished college, I went to graduate school, which is like, even more education than college. I did that at UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. And so that's why I ended up here in Los Angeles, because of school.
Who was your inspiration?
That's a great question. So I could say there's maybe two different inspirations that were important to me. The first one was called Steve Irwin, the Crocodile Hunter. Have you guys heard of this person?
No.
All right. So when I was growing up, he had a TV show that was really exciting. He showed all kinds of animals, everything from crocodiles and snakes and polar bears and everything, every animal you can imagine. He made it really fun and really exciting. He made me love animals. And he was really, really passionate and excited about the animals. And for me, I wanted to basically have that same passion and excitement, but instead of animals, for science and science experiments. So that was inspiring, kind of seeing him and doing these TV shows. And then when I grew up, I was able to kind of do my own shows, but about science, but in the same kind of, with the same kind of excitement. And the second inspiration would be Bill Nye, who you guys might be familiar with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So that was a show that was popular when I was a kid, and as a kid, I didn't watch it a lot. I actually watched Steve Irwin much, much, much more. But I'm still inspired by Bill Nye and how he also had a science show for kids, and I basically have a science show for kids as well. 25 years later, but I respect what came before me, and so I definitely admire the work that Bill Nye did.
That's pretty cool because Bill Nye's a science guy and you are too. And I think that's actually like really cool. Because I watch you and Bill Nye.
Cool, thank you.
What are Zoe and Izzy like?
They're cool. We film, every day for like a month and a half, and we got to be, friendly, almost like friends. And yeah, they liked science. They like acting and these kinds of things. So we had a good experience together.
Do you guys hang out when you're not on camera?
Not really. I'd say no, mainly because our ages are very different. It's like, you wouldn't hang out with someone that is 22, right? It's like just different levels. So similar to that. I'm much older than them. I'm 33 now. So when I was making the show, I was like 26. It's a couple years ago. So pretty big age difference. Although I would say that Izzy is very funny in real life. He is super funny, and so that's why in the show when he's the one making the most jokes, that wasn't like we didn't script it to be that way. Like he's just actually really funny in real life.
And how is Zoe like?
She's really cool. She also really enjoys doing like theater, like performing on stages and stuff like that. And after she finished the Generation Genius episodes, that's what she does. She travels around the country and performs theater shows, and she's really, really good.
We are learning about the water cycle. What is something most people don't know about water?
What is something most people don't know, that the water on Earth is really, really, really old. It constantly moves in a cycle, but water is very, very old, millions and billions of years old, and so it just constantly moves from the water that's on a lake up into the sky, into the clouds, and back down. So it's just cycling around and around, but it's been here forever. Well, almost forever.
Do you enjoy filming these videos?
I do, yeah. It's fun. Uh, the days are really long. We start really early in the morning, like 7 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes we film until 10 o'clock at night. It can be very long, but it's fun. I'm getting to do science experiments. But after I film a whole bunch of episodes, I definitely sleep like all day for a couple of days.
Have you ever had in like different kids than Easy and Zoe on your videos?
Yes. So on Generation Genius, we have shows for like different age groups. So we have grades 3 to 5, which is lab-ra-kazam. We have grades K to 2, which is called 3-2 Wonder. We have grades 6 to 8, which is called the Lab Report. So each of these shows that is similar. We're teaching about science topics you learn in school, but they're with different age kids. So the kids in the younger shows are younger. I think probably younger than you guys are. And in the older show, they're like or already like 18 years old. So it just depends on the show.
Since you're a scientist and you film videos, would it be possible for you to come to San Bernardino and do some science at George Brown Jr. for like an assembly?
That's a
Maybe.
great question and an awesome question. Right now, I'm really focused on trying to figure out how to make more videos for Generation Genius and to get more schools to use it. So I'm not currently doing school assemblies for any schools right now, but if I start them again, I would be very interested in coming to your school.
Thank you, Dr. Jeff, for giving us your time. I know that all of my students, all the 5th graders and the 6th graders here at George Brown, they're all going to be super excited to see this video. Everyone was really looking forward to hearing what you had to say. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. The website, Generation Genius. Any teachers out there, check it out. It is amazing. You will learn so much. There's so many resources on there, and the videos are entertaining, and the kids love it. Dr. Jeff, thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you, everyone. And don't forget, always question, always wonder.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.